this was a really good setup. Just the combo of this chapter with the stuff with Jin, and as well as finally seeing that full out overdrive was something I've been waiting for. I don't know. I mean, I guess for Jin's case, that really since his introduction and then overdrive since we got the name for it. I mean, I really want to be exact with at the exact point. Regardless of which, let's talk about the chapter itself because we did get a lot of really interesting stuff. I mean, first off, we see we just have like them now faced off against Jin, and it's the main cast minus Shiki, and I did really like Wise getting ready to drop Arsenal, and it's I don't know what it was. I think it just reminded me of like a scene from Ben 10 as he's grabbing his watch, being like, "All right, let's do this." And be like, "Dude, you don't gotta say the name of your power up suit before you put it on." I mean, I don't know. I guess when he wears it, he does this kind of like superhero kind of like thing, like the Sentai Kamen Rider kind of guy, Super Sentai dude. But regardless of which, right now, like he's getting ready to battle. They're like, listen, we can't be doing this. Like, Amira steps in. She knows what's going on. I think she knew beforehand that she would be, able to converse him into, siding with them. Because she knows about, like, how the machine works. She knows of the stuff, like, how he feels about, his sister, Clean, and how he wants to help her. So, I mean, it was just smart on her part. Shows her intelligence. That shows how she's able to, work somebody pretty easily, knowing what their motivations are and knowing how quickly she can get them on their side. I mean, I guess that he's not really on their side. He's just on the side that most benefits his sister. And knowing now that Drakken Joe's machine like sucks the life force out of like people like bit by bit, that it is not a good environment for his sister. So I mean, that's just makes sense why he'd want to go against that. And it's interesting of why he would, if it affects like all the people within the Belial Gore, because it means like it makes sense why he has all of these stores and attractions and stuff on his ship, because he wants to keep people there, and obviously the people coming in debt with him, he's gonna have them stay longer. So he's both working them for their money, and he's working them for their life force. So pretty clever on his part. I actually really like that reveal when you really think about like just the scheme that he's working and like how well he's manipulating people on multiple fronts. I think that's just really good on Drakken Joe's part. I think it really just shows his intelligence and shows his level of strategic capability and just how well he's able to lay out his plans. Like the dude is literally getting everything he needs to all at once from these guys. The only thing he doesn't have is Cat Leaper, and he's in the middle of trying to get that right now. I mean, obviously he's not going to get her. I mean, they're going to end up beating him by the end. But it's the road until then and seeing like this dude's fault is going to be really cool. And I'm really hoping, I got my fingers crossed that he will not be killed off and just kind of put in the list of dead villains who were taken too early than what we would have preferred. So I mean, I'm all right if he dies, if it's Hiromishima's like idea. Like obviously like he's the one who knows how this is all going. But at the same time, like, I don't want to see him go. Like, I want this character to stick around. Like, I find him very interesting, so I obviously want to see more of him. But other than that, though, just the whole layout of that just was really good. Like I said, really fun there. But there was a little bit afterwards. I actually, just as a side note, even though his name is really Chris, like, we find out, like, Jin's real name is Chris. I'm just going to call him Jin. I mean, like, we already found out, like, the member of Veracion says his name. But I still like to call them their code names. And I don't know. I feel like they're going to end up just going with that anyway. They're going to call him Jin way more than Chris. So, in regards to that, we have Wise, who just kind of, like, asks about the machine. It's like, what if somebody, like, was here a really long time? Like, oh, they would have a shorter lifespan. And we find out that's going to have something to do with Wise's backstory. We find out that somebody, like, very important to him died at some point, seemingly due to Drakken Joe's machine. So that already is very, very intriguing of, like, how this is going to go for Wise, because I didn't expect Wise stuff to happen at all. Like, that was actually really surprising to me. To be perfectly honest, like, the stuff in the chapter, that was the most surprising to me. Like, the crazy stuff with Drakken Joe was like, okay, sweet, like, we get to see it. It's a cool form. We knew it was going to be a form, but to what degree we weren't really sure. It was that reveal with Wise. I was just like, shit, I didn't see this coming at all. I mean, I don't think there was really much for foreshadowing. I have to go back and look, but maybe there was like a little hint in just regards to somebody he knew. It's even crazier when you think about in the timeline of where it's at right now. This had to be more than 50 years because this was Young-wise. So this was decades ago for Drakken Joe. So it's probably going to be really weird for him just to kind of like think back to like, oh yeah, he'll probably like reminisce on it like it's funny to him. But other than that, though, we get back to like the stuff with Shiki, because like the other casts are like, all right, we're gonna try and take on this. We're gonna try and hack this machine. Like Hermit's getting ready to get into it, and they have to take out this like terminal, this machine that's jamming any signal for Hermit to get in. And because taking this machine out, it's gonna benefit Clean. Jin decides to, well, I guess Sylph. I'm gonna call him by their name, Sylph. That he's gonna aid and side with them in order to do what's best for his sister. So he's just decides to destroy the machine and allow them to do it. And I imagine that I'm trying to think of like the people there. I don't think any of them were like big weapon based people. I mean, like you have Amira. We don't know anything about Amira. We still don't know what's special about the button on Moskoy's stomach. Doesn't look like we're gonna be seeing that soon. And Rebecca is a marksman, so it'd probably take a while to gun it down. And then with Jin, we know he's fully capable. Just arm out, slash. I mean, we even see that as he's, it's like, okay, I'm on board, and just destroys it. And then get back to stuff with Shiki and Drakken Joe. We already know Shiki is at a disadvantage. I knew he was going to have to get at least 2v1. This might turn into a 3v1 if Jin decides to join up as well. But seeing his overdrive was really cool. I like when he acknowledges Shiki's. And in the previous one, it was like, more of like, oh, you guys think this is Overdrive? Okay, I'll have to flex on you dumb kids. All right, let's go. Shiki, pulls up his version, and he's like, okay, cool. You're one step away from Overdrive. You're nobody, and I don't believe that. I think he just doesn't know who Shiki is. We don't know Shiki's backstory, but I'm willing to guess that Shiki is in some way significant, whether he's like some last member of a race or some crazy space like drama stuff. We don't know, but he's got to be something important. Even if his backstory is like he literally was nobody and Ziggy just picked him and took him. Like maybe he was somebody he decided to, somebody who's selling a child and didn't want him. He's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna raise this kid. Literally, like his backstory, like his origins aren't special. The fact he was raised by Ziggy means he was special. So you're crazy right now, Drakken Joe, for thinking that. I mean, if he even, like, this, I'd have to go back and look, but he knows that they're, like, he knows that Eden Zero is associated with Ziggy, so I don't know why he doesn't think more of Shiki, because what's even more interesting to think about is, like, when we saw the interaction, like, when, or at least the comment when he talked about Ziggy, I was like, okay, well, maybe he didn't know about him because Ziggy was, like, active at some point when Shiki was a baby. We don't know what he did between like the point of that, like him stop being space adventure and raising Shiki. We don't know if he did anything between them, but that had to be at least just, oh my god, we have Shiki's age, but I completely forgot what it was. I think we have his age. Either way, like he's probably like 17 to 19. I'm just guessing off the top of my head without looking at any canon numbers. But even that, like 18 years, like, okay, maybe he wasn't active then. Like, maybe he's only been active for the last, like, 10 plus years. No, he's over 200. And with the Y stuff, this means that it wasn't just that he's, centuries old. It's that he was active 50 plus years ago. So when Ziggy was happening, Drakken Joe had to be active. We don't know how old Ziggy is, but this means Drakken Joe had to predate Ziggy. So I'm just guessing. We don't know how old Ziggy is, so we can't really say on that one 100%. But he was at least active at the time up, so he had to have like the position where he would know about him. But like, I don't know. It's weird that he doesn't think anything of Shiki. But at this point, like, he's like, all right, so let me show you actually like Overdrive. Let me show you really what Overdrive is. And he like drops his form, and this form, pretty badass. Like he turns into this like sick looking like black, at least I assume black because of the coloring. It might be a different color in the actual like coloration of the panel. Monster with like this sick long hair and like a dinosaur tail. And I really like how the ether lines look like veins on him. I think that is really cool. I thought that just addition to like his design was super badass. You don't even really notice the tail, to be perfectly honest, at the start. Like the tail is not something that you're gonna take much into account when just looking at it. Like it's not in that initial panel. It's in one after that when you're seeing like Wise jump down and try and stop Drakken Joe like from hurting Shiki. I'm wondering like how many more people are going to show up, because with Drakken Joe we already know that he's much stronger than Shiki. We just don't know like how many Shikis is he worth? Is he going to be like a guy who's more hacks and they're able to defeat him because they have better teamwork and they're able to kind of like exploit his weaknesses? Are they going to only defeat him because of like taking out the machine? And like they said, they want to work on like draining his life force instead. So I could see maybe something like that going on. I mean, it's something that I could easily see happening, but the question is like, where exactly is it going to end in? There's a lot of possibilities, but those possibilities can only go towards so many roads, you know. But I really like his form. I'm happy that we got a really cool, like, just big bulky monster looking form that is gonna be able to actually get some love. There's those times where you get like a really cool form and they just kind of like get, I don't want to say wasted. I mean, I in some cases, yeah. I think a really easy example, I'll take a shot at Fairy Tail. It's not like an insult. It's more of just like you probably can understand what I mean. And that was when Jienma, or Xianma, I know he's translated as both. I've seen him both in the officials, but it might be in the anime. I remember Jienma, though, is how I have him memorized. But when he came back during the Tartarus arc, his demon form I actually thought was one of my favorites. I think the only one out of at least the Tartarus that I liked more than his was just Mark Gears, and then maybe like Torafuza's Darius. But I was like, man, this is a really cool design. And then he unfortunately he loses slightly after that. It sucks for him. But in regards to that, I was always like, even looking back, it's like, man, I don't really mind that his character was wasted. Like we never really got a whole lot for who he was. For me, it was more of like, man, it sucks that cool ass design did not get to really, get treated as well as I thought it should. But we're getting that, and we've gotten cool design since then, don't get me wrong. But it reminds me of that form, and I'm hoping maybe like, I can hold on to hope that maybe Hiramashima was just like, what did I waste that form on fodder? Man, I should put it on somebody cool. And then, like, this Drakken Joe looking like a weird, terrifying, like, black-skinned, monstrous T-Rex looking dude. Something like that. I can really just, I'm excited for. And I'm really hoping to see, what exactly he's capable of in this. Because there's no way that it's just, I have a form upgrade and I'm physically strong. We know that he should have a higher level of his ether gear ability to pretty much be an alchemist where he can convert matter into other types of matter. So, I don't know, pretty hyped stuff for the next couple chapters, I would hope. I can assume. The next couple are going to be some pretty big event stuff, and now we're fighting like the first big enemy. We had somewhat of a decent enemy with, in terms of power, with the Crimson Woman with Kurenai. She was a good antagonist, but she wasn't very powerful, clearly. But I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how things go. Anyway, other than that, though, comment below. Tell me your thoughts about this chapter, and tell me your thoughts about Con Up. I'm interested to see, like, what exactly is Wise's backstory with this guy that died. But also, I want to see the fight. I really want to see, like, Shiki and his kind of, like, pseudo-overdrive against, going up against Drakken Joe and his actual overdrive. And they got Arsenal Suit Wise, who, as far as we know, Wise doesn't even have the kind of pseudo-version of Overdrive like Shiki and Jin do, but he does have the Arsenal suit, so he's got something to power himself up just to make up for it. And I think one of the things that'll be really cool to see him fight is even if he runs out of the Arsenal suit, he still has his normal ether gear. I'm worried about that. I'm hoping he found a way to maybe like drain energy off of the machines around him to a degree so he can stay in his Arsenal suit, because we know that it's not a very long-lived form and has like power usage issues. So he's going to have to figure out something in order to use that against Drakken Joe, because unless they can take Drakken Joe out in like a chapter, I don't really know what's going to happen with that. But I doubt it'll be a chapter. It'll probably be, what are we at right now? I think 90, oh my god, what number are we at? 97? 95. So maybe they'll beat him around chapter 100. Maybe we'll get like a flashback chapter or two, and then they'll beat Drakken Joe at like 99 or 100. I think that would be a pretty sick time. So that'd be a pretty good way to end, like, the arc, too, because, from what Hiramashima said, this is the end of the Soccer Cosmos arc. So everything after this, we're going to be going into other cosmoses within the series and seeing what else is there out there. Which makes me wonder, like, will the Erasmus Galacta will actually be more than just being in the Sakura Cosmos, or is it only going to be the Sakura Cosmos? Maybe I'm remembering something wrong, because I remember that saying like I think they were like the biggest criminals in the Cosmos, specifically the Sakura Cosmos. Might be in all of the listed Cosmoses. I think there's 7, and I'd have to go back and look. But either way. Other than that, though, comment below. Tell me your thoughts about this chapter. Do you like the form? I really like this form. I think it looks really cool. I like the way that is, at least in the coloration in the manga right now, in the black and white version. Even if it's not black, whatever color it is, and then like the white, like the ether lines, the way they're formed around him, the way his hair grows, makes me also hyped for what Shiki's gonna get. I'm really hoping Shiki gets a sick form. The way I see it is like, if he's gonna be green, but maybe has like a cosmic green kind of like aura to him, and has like stars looking a pattern all over him. I think that'd be really sick. Anyway, other than that though, comment below, thumbs up the video, from the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everyone's already subscribed. Thank you all for listening.